Disney's Lorcana finally revealed to us gameplay. Let's hop on into it. In this slide, we're going to be going over the characteristics of the card, mainly the cost, the type, the name of the card, and the abilities. Feel free to pause to look at all the specific things. In this slide, we have the reveal of strength, willpower, lore, rarity, and the different colors that we get to play with in the game. Next up is setting up the game itself. You start by shuffling your deck, setting your lore counter to 0, drawing 7 cards, and then resolving your mulligan. Your mulligan is you may take any number of cards you don't want in your hand, put them to the bottom of your deck, draw the same amount that you put back, and then you may shuffle your deck. Then you determine who goes first by flipping a coin or rolling a dice. Next up, we're going to get into the phases. So we will start with the beginning phase, where you ready any of your exerted cards. During the set part of the beginning phase, any effects that activate during this will resolve. Draw phase, you draw a card from the top of your deck, except if you go first. Then we're going to hop into the main phase. During the main phase, you can do any of these following actions. Play a card, use a character ability, use an item ability, take any of the actions listed down below, which is questing, challenging, and using other abilities. Your objective for Disney's Lorcana is trying to see between you and your opponent who can reach 20 lore first, or who runs out of cards in their deck. In this next panel, they go over exerting and readying cards. It's essentially the same as Magic the Gathering's tapping and untapping, where if it's vertical, it's ready, if it's horizontal, it's exerted. But this panel also goes over the inkwell, which is your resource system in Lorcana. Essentially, once per turn, whenever you get a free action, you can put a card with the flourish around its casting cost into your inkwell that will produce 1 resource of any color. Big key thing is your Lorcana cards are not locked to one specific color. Now that we've gone over the phases, we're going to hop into the different types of cards in Disney's Lorcana. First up is character cards. They let you challenge other characters and use special abilities in order to help you advance yourself through the game. We have item cards, which stay into play and give you multiple benefits throughout the game. They can also be used the turn they come down. Action cards that once you get done using them go to the graveyard, but they give you powerful effects. And song cards, which are actually a brand new type of card that we just saw released in this article. Essentially how they work is you can pay an additional cost of, in one jump ahead's case, you can exert a creature of 2 or higher value to play for free. Next up, we're going to be getting into questing, challenging, and damage. Questing, at any point whenever a creature has been on the field for a full cycle, means you can exert it in order to accumulate the lore pips equal to the character. It's usually in the bottom right-hand corner. Challenging is essentially how you attack a character. You can only attack characters that are exerted, and which then leads us to our final topic on this panel, which is the damage. Damage is similar to the Pokemon trading card game, where essentially equal to your strength, you deal it to its defense, vice versa. The counters do stay on the character once you do damage, and it stays on there until the creature dies or until you remove the counters themselves. And last but certainly not least, we have the deck building aspect for Disney's Lorcana. So this slide pretty much goes over everything that you will need to know if you want to build a Lorcana deck. So it states that your deck must contain a minimum of 60 cards. You cannot have more than one specific copy of a single card in the deck. So for example, you could have 4 copies of Elsa Snow Queen along with 4 copies of Elsa Queen Regent in the deck. So if you want to make like an Elsa tribal or like a Mickey Mouse tribal deck, you can do that as long as it's in your colors. It also states that you can only have a deck that contains up to 2 inks, which I think gives a whole lot of variety to deck building. But that's essentially going to wrap up our video. Let me know what y'all think. If you want more information, Ravensburger has more tutorial videos on their website and on Lorcana.com. I'll see you on the next one.